We invited Alex Beavers, Executive Director of SRI.
We are all hearing about innovation and how important innovation is to our economies. And the semiconductor industry is one of the most innovative industries in the world. One example of this is the fact that last year, in 2012, of the top 15 the companies that produced the most patents, in 2012, 6 of those 15 companies were semiconductor companies. Out of the top 50, 15 companies were semiconductor companies. So if you use the number of patents produced and awarded as a measure of innovation, then certainly the semiconductor industry gets high marks from that point of view. Another way to look at what's happening is it's just unbelievable if you think about it, the kind of continued improvement in terms of density, in terms of cost, density going up, cost going down, time to market going down. It's just amazing what the industry's been doing. If you look at over the last 5 or 6 years, we're looking at circuit densities where the smallest node is now on the order of 28 nanometers. And that's a 4 times improvement over just 5 years ago, and it's just amazing. Then you also look at what's been happening in terms of packaging density and energy density, and you can see that it's been going up dramatically. Where it's being the power being handled by semiconductors is 4 times what it was per square meter per square millimeter over 5 years ago. So it's really amazing what's been happening each year. That's another mark of innovation, getting more value, getting lower cost and higher performance. But innovation doesn't just stop with the how many transistors or memory cells we can put onto a semiconductor or a silicon chip. It also has been, there's innovation happening at the system level. Things happen, and this is where one of the areas that we at SRI are involved in, working with companies who are innovating in how they package semiconductor chips with a variety of techniques, whether it's a system on a chip, putting more and more circuitry on a chip so that the chip itself becomes a system in its own right. Something that we've been involved with over the last 2 or 3 years, systems in a package, which is the stacking of chips in the 3 dimensions. One of the things that's happening here with all these different technologies of systems integration is that the concept of the printed circuit board and even the motherboard is starting to disappear. If you open up your cell phone or your tablet, once it doesn't work anymore, I would suggest you don't open it up until then. You would probably be hard pressed to find anything that looks like something that might be called a printed circuit board. Things are really integrated packages with little slivers of flexible circuits connecting all the various pieces, and it's just amazing what's happening with that innovation as well. So there are things happening beyond just the silicon portion of the semiconductor industry, but it's all part of the same innovative trend. We're using technologies today for flex circuits that were used in the semiconductor industry not too many years ago. So it's really amazing what's been happening. That the semiconductor industry is the largest export industry for the United States. It's larger than any other industry segment in the United States. So that's an indication of not only how much innovations it can be done, but also its value and role in the world. So that's an interesting. The other thing that I thought was interesting here also is that one of the trends that's generating more and more demand for the greater and greater performance of semiconductors are things that are happening to us on everyday life. We all use the internet today, and the internet is approaching 90% consumption by video information. So it's something to think about, that 90% of the traffic on the internet today is video. Secondly, things happening with cloud computing, with things that we used to take for granted is going to be in our desktop. Now we're just assuming it's in a server farm someplace. When you look at the numbers, there's a need for one dedicated server for every few hundred smartphones and just over 100 tablets. That's a lot of servers when you think about the number of devices that are out there today. And then the innovations that are taking place in mobile computing in our everyday lives, mobile banking, retail, even healthcare, are creating more and more demand for just the kind of processing power that only semiconductors can provide. So that looks like it's going to continue as a demand, and the industry itself will keep innovating to provide the supply. One other comment I'd like to make here is that the semiconductor industry really has an ecosystem with it. It's not just how can you fabricate nice wafers. There's a whole variety of services, software products, design expertise, packaging, the systems designers for these advanced mobile products I was talking about, all are connected to and are involved with and are necessary for the innovation that's occurring in the semiconductor industry. So as we talk, as you'll be hearing in a few minutes, and I can't wait to hear myself about all the great things happening in Brazil, it's important to understand that the semiconductor fab itself is a cornerstone for the development of a larger ecosystem that will generate jobs and also additional economic activity.